900 million people in 142 countries are living unfulfilled lives. You've just tuned into Live Well TV, and I am Tasha Evans. Today's broadcast, we're looking at the courage to start. If by chance you're one of those people that are living an unfulfilled life, or you have been unfulfilled, or you know someone that's unfulfilled, this show is for you. Live Well TV starts now. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live Well TV, guys. And when I say live well, we're talking about you living well in every aspect of your life. And it is my pleasure to introduce my special guest today, David and Allie Brown. David, Allie, how are you guys doing?
Tasha.
Doing good.
Tasha.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Tasha. Thank you so much.
You know, and thank you guys for accepting the invitation, really.
Of course. Who would miss
Why
it?
we wouldn't, Tasha? No, in all seriousness, like, thank you so much. I mean, I'm so proud of everything that you're doing. And I know God is like really like just doing some amazing things with you. So again, that's a testament as to why we're here. So thank you again for inviting us.
You know, not only is God doing amazing things in my life, but God's doing amazing things in this amazing couple's life. You know, I want to share a little bit about David and Al. And I'm going to go between Al and Allie, so I'm a name chopper upper, so that's just what I do.
I'm cool with it.
Okay. A little bit about David and Al. Just phenomenal. David and Allie are both lovers of Jesus Christ. I love that. Annoyingly in love newlyweds. They have both survived.
We are annoyingly in love.
You guys have survived the online dating scene, huh?
Yeah.
We did.
I definitely embellished a few bullets,
Yes.
you know. And I know Allie,
So did I.
she has some stories where, yeah. So I'm
It's
glad
a
I was.
horror story.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I'm glad I
understand.
came in and saved when I did, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Huh.
So lovers of Jesus Christ, survived the online dating scene, just so in love. I love that about you guys. And to take it a step further, they're parents and bonus parents of not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but 6 lovely children.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
We're a Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
love-
Tasha, you know, breaking news. I'm giving this to God. We're actually working on
I was like, breaking news.
one.
What?
No, for real. We're working on one right now.
Oh,
7.
God be the glory.
7.
What?
Yeah. Well, my mom come from 7, so
Yeah.
I never thought I would have 7. But anyway, again, all in God's timing. But
Yes.
we're actually working on one now.
I'm excited
So,
about that.
7.
Stay tuned. Okay, we're going to come back when we have number 7 in the space. The 7th
Right.
round, okay?
I love it.
And you know what? Another thing I want you guys to make sure you plug into, these two amazing people operate in just an amazingly creative space. They've trusted God to start a podcast, My Heart Exposed, where they talk about love, sex, and marriage, but God's ways. So connect with it. I think it's a tremendous resource if you are single, if you are divorced, if you are married. It's just great content and information that we all need to feed our spirits. So My Heart Exposed. We'll definitely plug their social media handles so you can connect with them and follow all that God is doing in their lives. And so I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
just absolutely thrilled today. We're talking about the courage to start. The courage to start. And so just blows me away, Dave and Al, at the absolutely astounding statistics.
Yeah.
900 million people in 142 countries are living unfulfilled lives. 70% of those people live in the United States. And it breaks my heart. You know, if I really, it takes me back to my life as I was growing up and suffering from my own insecurities and my own issues. And like many people, I thought I was the only one. I had these issues and feeling like I wasn't good enough or smart enough or just all the enoughs. But in the courage to trust God to lead this amazing well-being movement and find out not only was it me and 90 other people, but it's 900 million people that are lost, that are hurt, that are suffering, that are, you know, serving in a role that doesn't work for them or a relationship that they probably should separate from. And so looking at the courage to start today, in Jesus' name, we believe that you will take away something that will help you to move in a space of fulfillment, that will help you to move in a space of creativity and to help you just really thrive in the things of God. So when we say the courage to start and we look at the statistics of the number of people that are living unfulfilled lives, it's so heavy.
Yeah.
I can't even get over it.
I'm like, is that the whole world? 900 million? I mean, how many people are on this earth?
I truly believe it. I mean, open confession, I was in that 900 million. You know, very recent.
We all.
Yeah. I didn't know what direction. You have this vision of
Yeah.
what you think it looks like, and then you never could just grab a hold of things. I've had moments where I had to start over in life.
Yeah.
I had moments where I got setbacks. I had moments where I had to do things over.
Yeah.
But in it all, what I realized the missing piece was truly was
Yeah.
like my relationship with the
Yeah.
Lord, because He's the author and finisher of our faith. He's the one that creates our path. Even when we think we know what's best for us, He's trying to jump ahead of our plans to show us what you thought was best is not what's best. I know. That's why it's most important for anybody. You're talking about starting something? Let me start a relationship with you first.
Oh, wow.
Because you can see well ahead before I can see anything. You know what's around the corner. You know what's set up. You know what's getting ready to come my way that's going to be a challenge to me.
Yeah.
But again, you're equipping me. You know, so I want to first start something with Christ first. You know, because again, people try to find a purpose.
Oh,
right? They try to chase a dream.
Yeah.
But if you never get a relationship truly, I'm talking about authentic, sincere, real, not an image, not a facade, but a true, sincere relationship, you'll never know what you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, how you're supposed to affect, you know, others in this world. You know, because it's in Him that I find my true purpose.
Wow.
Because He created us.
Yes.
So who better would know
Yeah.
how we're wired, what our passions are, what we're good at, what we're not good at, what we can grow in, and those desires that we have. It's like God placed those there. So why wouldn't you want to start something that God has for you? But you have to have that relationship with Him to know where to go.
Absolutely.
He's going to order your steps.
I was definitely in that 900 million unfulfilled, right?
Yeah.
Unfulfilled, thinking I know what was best, but just trying to fill holes that I couldn't fill.
Wow.
Trying to plug up a void that I could never plug up. But again, I was in that 900 million, and I'm glad that the Lord has been patient enough with me that I finally got it right. Because sometimes we need second and third and fourth chances. And then we get to that point like, all right, Lord, I tried it all. I'll give you a shot this time.
I love what both of you have shared. And if you are potentially watching, and if you've ever been in a space of unfulfillment, or if you're in a space now of unfulfillment, or if you know someone that is living in that space, in that space, please share, you know, this broadcast. So our intent is for people to leave inspired and motivated to connect with the true source. Because I love the fact, because most people think maybe it's a business plan, or they think it's a credit check, or they think, okay, I'm going to leave this job and go to another job, and that's how they begin to start, or that's how they move into the space of connecting with their purpose. And so thank you both for being so candid, because that hits us right exactly where this broadcast needs to go, because people, that's the big thing, is what's my purpose? How do I get into this? Why am I here? I don't know what it is. I'm 47, I'm 62, I'm 39. Am I ever going to figure it out? I'm watching, you know, Allie, I'm watching David moving in this space. She's leading this nonprofit. He's ministering to men. Oh my God, how did they connect with that? You know, and how do I get there? And it starts with the Word of God.
Yeah,
that's right.
You mentioned something. So you mentioned, you know, a plan. You know, you mentioned. It was something else you mentioned which kind of caught me.
A business plan,
a business plan, credit check, right?
Yeah.
So, and all those things are wills. You should prepare.
Absolutely.
You should have preparation, right?
Yeah.
But again, if any plan goes ahead of the plan of God, or if you don't bypass or check with, Lord, do you sign off on this? Or can you author this with me?
Yes.
You know, I want to know, can you give me the direction I need? Everybody wants to start something, right?
Yeah.
And then some people are just okay with being a supporter of people that start something. But what I found out truly, again, everything can fall through the cracks. Nothing really, really holds weight until God just kind of blesses it and signs off on it and just gives you the instruction and direction that you need. You know, because again, unfulfillment will continue to be there until we just relinquish everything over to Him and say, look, I need you on this one.
Yeah.
And the
Is this
Bible
what you want from
says,
me?
commit your plans to the Lord and your plans will succeed.
Yeah.
So often we think, oh, if they succeed, it's going to look like this. But to God, success to Him might look completely different than
Absolutely.
success in the world. But if we commit it to Him, then it will succeed no matter what it looks like. It might be blessings in heaven that we're going to see one day, you know, just the reward of Him saying, well done. You put a smile on one kid's face. That was success to me.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's cool to think about.
That's amazing, Allie, because I can't tell you how many people share, well, you know, Tasha, I've done this, but it failed. Tasha did this, and such didn't come through. But as you said, if we commit our ways and our plans unto Christ, you know, that's what it's all about. It's not about, you know, the people, because unfortunately people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to disappoint.
Oh,
Bless their heart.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that what we do is as unto the Lord. So that is valuable. So I hope that
Yeah.
blesses the person
Yeah.
that watches, that feels defeated, because those things will hold us back. You
Yeah.
know, and that's enough for some people say, you know what, I'm not going to start or restart. Because there are times people start and then they stop and then it's a moment of restarting.
And it's tough to start over at times.
It is.
That takes a whole nother thing to encourage yourself,
Yeah.
pick yourself back up.
Yeah.
Even when you can't find supporters that see what you're trying to accomplish, you gotta like encourage yourself, even though it's hard to find.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it, guys. We're talking about the courage to start. I can't even get over the astounding statistic of the number of people who don't start for whatever reason. Let's kind of move into that now. Why don't people start? What would you say, Al?
Fear, I think. Fear of rejection, fear of failure. I mean, you had mentioned earlier, you said something about not feeling good enough, not being enough, not being interesting enough, whatever it is.
Yes.
I mean, there's always going to be something that we don't feel good enough.
Yeah.
And of course we compare. We compare to people that are doing what we want to do. And we're like, well, I'm not that, so
Yeah.
I'm never going to get there.
You
So
know-
why start? You know?
So that's great. It is fear, and I think just to pair that, I would say a lot of times people feel like they're not qualified.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they just I think I want to, but I don't think I'm
Yeah.
qualified enough. I don't think, you know, I can do it. You know, and I say that to say this because somebody may be watching and this is important. I had just added this recently to my prayer because I don't want to see myself the way I see myself. Because I see lack, I see insufficiencies, I see insecurities.
Yeah.
I have been asking God, let me see myself the way you see me.
Yeah.
Because then that would give me the confidence and boldness that I need to start something.
And what's so awesome is there really are insufficiencies, right?
Yeah.
Like there are things like, I'm not good at editing audio
Yeah.
stuff. But I started,
Yeah.
I've learned, and that's where God comes in. That's where He
You
shines.
did our podcast and you do pretty good.
Thanks, babe. I tried, but I had to teach myself, and
So you had no background.
no background. I had never listened to a
This
podcast.
girl is self-taught.
Ever.
Wow.
And the Lord like dropped it in my spirit, like, you guys are gonna start a podcast. And I was like, I had never listened to one, but I said, okay, Lord, like if you want us to do this, I will, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And part of it excited me, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we get to talk about things we love, we love talking about this stuff and blah, blah, blah. But then there's this whole other side of it that's
the
work.
technical side, exactly.
That I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
not
yeah.
know how
Beyond
to
the
do,
passion.
that I am completely incompetent in.
Right.
But that's where the Lord loves to step in, because He's like, okay, now you can trust on me because
Yes.
I gave you that vision.
Yes.
So let me see if you persevere through it and call on me to help you, because I'm going to stretch you and then build skills into
The
you
stretching.
Yeah.
Yes.
that you didn't have before. And if I
Absolutely.
didn't press through, I wouldn't have grown in those skill sets.
So many things that you guys have said. I want to back it up really quick, Dave, to when you mentioned so many people are concerned about being qualified. You know, God qualifies us. Remember that. You know, it's not our degree. It's not making a certain rank at work. It's not so much of your seniority. But remember that God will qualify you. Because simply, I'm with you, whole TV broadcast, what? No, a lot. But God qualified me.
That's right.
Some of the way He qualifies you. And so I'm glad you mentioned you and the backside of the podcast, because I really want to venture into that. And we're talking about the courage to start. So let's look at your courage to start My Heart Exposed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she shared that she had never even listened to podcasts. She shared all the things she didn't know, which are all the things that will make you potentially not want to start.
Definitely.
You know,
yeah.
but I love the fact that you availed yourself, and we're students for life.
Yeah.
You know, I know
Yeah.
we think we go through 1 through 12, or we extend on to, graduate school or doctorate, all these different programs, but we're students for life. And if we can yield to that and really allow God to work through us, like you said, when we're weak, He's strong. And so let's talk about the courage to start My Heart Exposed. God gives you this. How long were you married at that point?
We were not married.
We were not married.
So
Okay.
this was January
So planning a wedding.
2017. We weren't even engaged yet.
Oh, good night.
This
Okay.
is when this. No, seriously, this is when this started, and good night. It's right. So I'm like, I'm not even married to this man. You want me to have a podcast? But it was actually our church at the time was doing a fast, like a month-long fast.
Okay.
And it was during that fast that I felt like the Lord told me, like, you guys are going to do this podcast. And I was like, okay, let me go research what podcasts are and how they're made and all that. And then, we got engaged maybe a month later. And I originally thought, well, maybe this is supposed to chronicle like our engagement and kind of like share where we're at right now. And for whatever reason, it just kept getting put off. We did meet a bunch.
That's a good point you made. So we started to dive into this. Like we treated it like a real business.
We made a mission statement.
We made a mission statement.
It's gonna be.
We were meeting, even though we were hanging out dating, we still met for lunch to discuss next steps and plans and what we wanted this to look like. But we probably took it on too quick.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, and that happens,
It
right? When it ain't the
Sometimes
season, it's
they'll
not
give
the
you
right
the vision
season.
early,
Yeah.
but it's not time.
Right,
Yes.
it's not the timing.
Yes.
So, because we still had the wedding coming up. So we said, all right, well, let's just put
And
this
we
on.
had life. Like, we had some things coming through that
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see why it was delayed, for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
But but it was still there. That passion, that assignment from
Yeah.
God was always there.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until we got married in October, and then it was probably like December where every message I heard, which is so funny that we're on this show talking about the word start,
Yes.
but every
Yeah.
sermon I listened to, every song, like I would just hear the word start would jump out at me, and I knew it was about the podcast, and I was like, okay, this is the time.
I remember that
We gotta do
video.
this.
You did a video on it.
Yeah, I did.
So I pull up. I don't know where I was at the time, and I pull up this little video on Instagram, and it's my wife, and she was like, "Look, I just want to let you know if you've been thinking about it, if it's been on your mind, or or if it's been on your heart, just start, just start." So it sounded bold, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was simple.
Yeah.
Just start.
Take one step.
Because sometimes you look at the big picture and you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so much work that's going to go into that. But once you start, you realize these steps lead to like, wow, I've made this much progress.
Yeah.
And I still tell my wife, like, I told you this maybe a month ago. I said, baby, I can't believe we were just like at Hungry's, sitting and talking about this podcast, and we were mapping it out. And now
now
like
it's
we're
real.
in it.
Yeah.
It's real.
And people are coming to us asking, how did you do this or how did you do that? But, even back to when I did post that video and I just decided I'm going to start with this, I was terrified. I was like, I don't know. I know I need equipment. I know I need to learn how to use my computer, like editing software. I know our content is good, but what am I doing, And so there were moments where I was like, Lord, you need to like come through, like, and not only that, we have all these kids and life, and we're newlyweds,
Absolutely.
and how are we going to schedule this, and how
Yes.
are we going to do this?
Yes.
But that's life. That's anything we start. It's going to be all sorts of things pulling at you. but one step at a time. We found a name, we made a logo, you know, we got a website.
Yeah.
Little things started happening,
That's the truth.
and
Yeah.
before we knew it, just making ourselves available to the Lord and to keep being persistent towards it and researching. And I mean, we did so much,
Yeah.
but it came together.
I remember just sitting around and just trying to come up with a name. Like, it's so silly. See,
He
you always
came up
see,
with the
yeah,
name.
you always see the outcome of things, right?
Yeah.
You see the finished product,
Yeah.
but you never know the beginning stages. Like, we would sit around and we would just be like, you know, I don't know if you ever seen Temptations when they just threw out all these ridiculous names,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We were doing that,
We were
and we were
doing
just
that.
throw that out,
Right,
throw that out,
right.
and then my heart exposed.
And I
You know,
was like,
because it
yes.
spoke to relationships, for real. Like, my heart is exposed right now. I have this on the table. My life is at stake. You can hurt me or you can help me. But I'm trusting that you'll keep my heart and preserve it and protect it. That's what we want with any relationship. You're trusting that when I give my heart over to you, you safeguard it just like God would.
And we have to expose our hearts unto God for Him to mend it, to heal it, to shape us and mold us into Christ-like people,
Absolutely.
you know? And so it's like your heart has to be exposed.
Yeah.
If it's not going to be healed.
Oh my goodness, y'all. We are talking about the courage to start. Allie has shared, and I want to make sure you didn't miss it because I want to just circle back to all the amazing things that she shared because these are amazing life principles that I believe that you can take away and apply to your life and your businesses. So when you're looking at the courage to start, Allie shares she heard this vision, you know, and then she started researching because she didn't know what it was.
Right.
Sometimes when we hear stuff and we don't know what it is, that's enough to stop there. But she, you know, persevered through that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing is there was a moment of like they're meeting and all these things, and then it was a pause. You know,
Yeah.
life happened. And you
Yeah.
got to understand that when we hear things, God gives us dreams and visions, but understand that there's a process to this journey. So all of this happened even before they were engaged. God gives her this, they're engaged. She starts researching, they start meeting. Then they're like, okay, wait a minute, we got a wedding, we got life, we got things coming at us. And I'm sure, you know, they don't even have to tell me, but I know there was resistance. You know, because whenever God gives us things, there are things, there are attacks that are going to come at you. There are going to things that are like, you know what, okay, maybe I didn't hear this, okay? I'm not even sure if I like you or me right now, okay? But we're going to press on, you know? And so, but with that understanding the process of starting, because it's great to get an idea, you know what, you want to write a book, you want to start a business, you want to start a podcast, you know, you want to go back to school. That's so exciting, but be ready for the challenges that are waiting on you, you know.
Yeah.
But, and even here they are now, months later, and now they've become light to other people. You know, all the research and the time and the dedication, people are coming to Al saying, hey, how do you do this? And she's happy to share, you know, how God has helped her. But then what happens, she sows that seed and that helps somebody to help somebody else. And so also understand when you start, it's not just about you.
Yeah.
You know, when she started this, she probably never even thought that she would be featured on Live Well TV. She never thought that people would be reaching out to her saying, hey, I'm inspired by what you're doing. You know, I want to do this too. I've always wanted to do it, but I don't know how. So same with you. As you're watching this broadcast and we're talking about an opportunity to help people that live in a space of possible unfulfillment or a space of just lack or a space of just wanting to do more and you don't know how, you know, you taking that one step not only blesses you, but you begin to bless other people. And so, you know, thank you for sharing that, Al.
Yeah.
I love what God is doing in your life. I love what He's doing with My Heart Exposed. So much with that. I have got to ask you too, David, because you touched on it a little bit earlier about what fulfillment looks like. And I want you to kind of take us there because you shared that you may have lived in a space or with an image of what fulfillment looks like.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
So, me personally, you know, very much so unfulfilled. And I tried it so often to just fill myself with things or with companionship or with people. And before you know it,
What kind of things, Dave?
just, you know,
Cars,
for me,
fire,
no, for me, you know, my wife knows I'm transparent. For me, at one point, it was women. It was, I knew if I made good money, if I had, you know, enough money in the bank. And those things, you know, led to deceptive practices on my end. and I was trying to be filled by other things when only truly, God can fill you. And I had to find this out through some hardship though. Again, I had to go through some days where I cried out, and I had to go through some days where I would, I remember calling my sister Callie and I was like, hey, I wish God can really take this cup from me. I don't want to, continue to do these things, because there's something in you that, will do it, and there's something in you that says, don't do it. And so there's this warring, there's this tug of war going on, and the Lord was just letting me know, look, you're trying all of this, and you're an empty vessel that only I can fill. I made you. Why wouldn't I know how to fill you? I know how to fill you and use you. And that's what God was just showing me. You're trying to be filled by something and then trying to live life. You're going to run short. And I continue to run short, and I continue to run into brick walls, and I continue to just, realize that my life was just like not my own, truly. Like my life, I didn't make myself. And I tried it. I really, really tried it. And I'm so fortunate that, God gave me a second chance with my wife. Again, I wouldn't have never saw a podcast. I wouldn't have never saw being on this television, show with you. Again, we never see what's ahead until we align ourselves with the Lord. And that's what I had to do. I had to align myself to Him, and I had to let go all that I wanted to do. And, again, I had so many doors shut on me. I had so many setbacks.
And that's what the viewers may not know. We were previously married. We are a big blended family now. But that's the beauty of God's redemption, because everything we do now is operating out of that place of God, the way He restored us individually, but now together. And we're able to do our podcast and speak on marriage and speak on these things and as a whole person.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have happened had we not gone through that unfulfillment.
And that's key. So, He had to restore me by myself first, right?
Yes.
Because we look for somebody else to add to our lives. That's nobody can complete you or fulfill you or give you happiness. If not, you'll continue to draw from that person. Hey, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And you'll rely on them to make you happy. So God just He readied me to be available to her, and He had her ready to be available to me. So now that's why we can do this podcast, because we have experiences in a single season and in a married season that we can give. Our kids are just added bonuses to what we do, and we manage them, and we try to give it back to God to manage it accordingly based on how He wants us to. But as far as like how we just live this life in terms of our marriage, we are constantly like, Lord, humble us. We want to be what you want us to be. Like we don't know how to blend a family.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry about that. We don't know how to blend a family.
Yeah.
But we try to continue to just be honest and transparent to the Lord and give us direction. Please give us direction.
Ooh, did y'all hear David say, we don't know. We don't know. I can't tell you. That is the most paralyzing thing to most people, because you feel like you gotta know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You gotta have it all together.
Yeah.
I gotta be able to fix this marriage. I gotta be able to fix my finances. I gotta be able to fix my kids. But for you to your transparency and being able to humble yourself and surrender, both of you, to say, you know what, God, I don't know, but I do know who.
Yeah.
You can help.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I love that. Thank you for sharing, David. Thank you for just being so transparent. Because that's the realness. That's how we heal, and that's how our lives change. When we can just get connected with the space of truth.
Amen.
Oh my God, He who the Son sets free is free indeed.
Yeah.
And being able to just be free, and in a space of freedom to where you can share. This was an insecurity. This was a space of, where because we've all had the mask. Whether you may be wearing it now, and I'm so grateful for God helping me every day to just really to be who He's called me to be, and not who I think people want me to be.
Yeah.
But being able to just share, hey, this was my life. I tried to hold up this image, and these were my issues. That is powerful, because as a result, on the other side of that, it's amazing opportunities. Amazing moment of God. Because The truth is, y'all, when you go through any type of breakup or any kind of transformation, you're like, okay, it feels like the world and the bottom is about to fall out.
Yeah.
If
Talk
I'm
about
ready.
starting again.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, how is this gonna
Oh.
happen? It can't be this special person because all you can think about is what you've dealt with in the past.
Right.
And not so
Right.
much is that our people that are in relationship with us, sometimes it's us.
Yeah.
Or it could be a combination.
Yeah.
But for you both to enter into a space of where you're trusting God to heal and make you whole and giving you another chance to start again. So
Yeah.
I think that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh my God, guys, this has been so, so, so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all inspired, but I am tremendously inspired. We'll continue our conversation on the courage to start. Allie, share with us a few key points that would resonate to the person who hasn't started. What are some things that hold people back from starting whatever that thing is?
Oh
What would you
yeah,
say?
I think there's so many things that can hold us
Absolutely,
back.
yes.
But just to name a few, I think fear of not being good enough,
Mhm.
not being accepted, maybe
Yes.
fear of failure.
Yeah.
For
yeah.
me, that was a huge one. I'm very much a perfectionist.
Yes.
If I'm going to do something, I want to be the best at it.
Yeah.
I want to knock out all the competition around me. And so if I feel like, oh, but I don't know how to do that, then it stops me from even wanting to go there.
Yeah.
Fear of really a lot of things. Fear of
Yeah.
the unknown.
Oh, that's a good one.
Not knowing where that's going to take you in
Yes.
life. And do I want to jump in that river and maybe it goes that way and I don't know
The risk.
where that's going to go.
Yeah.
Procrastination.
Mhm.
Oh gosh,
So
hard
many.
work.
Yes.
Hard work. Some people just don't want to put in the work.
What do
I'll tell
think?
you one thing with our podcast, it is a struggle to be consistent. There's so many podcasts and YouTube shows and all this stuff that just die off, and I've been guilty of it. I used to have a YouTube channel and it was so hard. It's hard work to do
Yeah.
this stuff,
Yeah.
to keep it consistent. But that's where it starts to build, and that's where you gain the momentum, and then you build a community around it, and the content is good. But it wouldn't happen if you're not consistent. So that's another thing. People just, it's hard.
So they need to really be all in.
Right.
Because
Totally committed.
So the idea of starting, but staying committed to it and actually seeing it through. That is so.
Or if
yeah.
you make mistakes. Maybe you make a mistake and then you're like, oh shoot, what's the point? I messed up. There's been plenty of mistakes we've made. I mean, I just went to Africa
Well, there's been a lot
and
that
didn't
she's
have
made.
any Wi-Fi. Go figure. I expected I would have Wi-Fi there and I could edit the podcast out there. No Wi-Fi. So for 2 weeks, we had to just have no new content.
Right.
Wow.
And that's not how I like to operate.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm like,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't afford to take 2 weeks off. The
Right,
people are
right.
going to fall off. They're
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
like us anymore. They're not going to listen. And that has not been the case.
Yeah.
But it's okay to make mistakes and get back up and keep showing up.
Right.
You know?
Allie has made a lot of mistakes.
See what I live with.
But no, and one thing I will add, that's the whole social media piece. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
That's good.
for what you do, for
For
what
sure.
we do, I mean, we have to market this stuff. We have to constantly be relevant. We have to be in front of people. They have to see that, yeah, we do have good content. And I mean, it's just constant.
Yeah.
So sometimes, again, when you don't get those likes and you don't get, how people are really following you and they're following somebody else, and you may even feel like, gosh, what I have is better than what they have.
Yeah.
But God, why is God not blessing me like them?
Right.
Again, I just think we have these things just kind of grow in the season that it's
Yeah.
supposed to grow in. But I want to say you should be consistent, because at some point, sometime, someday, it's just gonna open up.
Yeah.
God is gonna open up the floodgates.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how He does it. I just want to know that you were diligent, because He says in His Word, I'm a rewarder to those that diligently seek me.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with what we put our hands to. Just be diligent in it. And that's what we've
Yeah.
been doing. We've been diligent. That's why my wife was really vexed when she was in Africa.
Yeah.
I can't put this out, because again, she's been very consistent. She's
Yeah.
been diligent.
Yeah.
And she knows that people, and we don't even know all these people that listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
They rely on this.
Yeah.
They want to hear it.
Yeah.
And so I love, this is the great thing about business. You don't even think so much about what you offer. and what you're doing.
Wow.
You think about the outcome of how it's blessing somebody else
yeah.
and the impact of blessing somebody else. We are now responsible to share things that blesses somebody else because we get the feedback that, wait, I don't even normally listen to podcasts, but I'm listening to this. You know, I'm going to say this, you know, and this is not a part of it, but this is important. There was a friend of mine, I kid you not, you can edit this, whatever, but I just want to share it. There was a friend of mine that had an ongoing relationship with a girl, all right? He was married.
Oh, while he was married.
He was married.
Okay.
I never wouldn't have known that the woman that he was messing around with,
Yeah.
she has now been introduced to God because she was stalking him out one day, found me on the podcast, and has been an advocate listener every Wednesday.
Wow.
Like, God sets us up sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're on the wrong path,
Yeah.
somehow, some way, I'll use this podcast. I know you were looking for something, but I'm going to introduce you to something else. And that's how God does it. And this woman listens to our podcast every Wednesday.
Wow.
And she has been so, like, in tune to, Lord, thank you for, like, guiding me.
I want to say one other thing too is staying true to the vision that you have, because you know, in this podcast, the Lord was the one that gave me the vision, right? And so I knew it was to glorify Him. And when we get caught up and we get discouraged and we look at other people and we feel the pressure of, oh, I'm not doing enough marketing, I'm not doing enough this or that, we start to listen to other voices that might say, oh, well, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Oh, you were a little bit offensive when you did that. But the vision was simple. It's love, sex, and relationships God's way. So if I'm preaching the word, if our episode happens to be on something controversial, and this is what God says, and somebody tells me differently, you should be ashamed, da da da. I mean, and we get haters. There's haters that are gonna hate on anything you do. It doesn't matter how good it is.
I mean,
You have to stay true to the vision.
Absolutely.
People that I've seen that have given negative responses, and we don't get a lot of them. Like, those are people, no, I kid you not. Those are people that are anti-biblical direction. Because we give truly a biblical view on how God sees it, what God says about it. Because we try to define what we think is best for a relationship. That's why we got so many failed relationships.
Absolutely.
I mean, me and my wife were a part of the divorce rate being over 50%. We were in that number. We were in the 900 million unfulfilled. We were there.
Yeah.
But it takes us saying, you know what? Yeah, I was there. But staying with God just long enough, He pulls you out of a statistic and plucks you out of the fire and says, you know what? This one here, they were attentive enough, and they stayed with me long enough, and I showed them the way. And that's what we were trying to do, just be sensitive to His direction. And we didn't want to make the same mistakes. We just didn't want to make the same mistakes.
This podcast is an altar we are putting on top of the destruction that we face in our mess-ups of relationships. So we turned it around, and that's why it's so awesome to do it together, because it's like, all of our slip-ups and your past with women, my mess-ups with just bad relationships or giving myself away or whatever it was, now we get to say, let's put an altar to God, this podcast, on top of all that mess, and let's be nourishment for other people. God uses you as nourishment for other people that are going through what you went through.
We are absolutely vessels for God and the Spirit of God to flow freely through to help others.
But it's like you said earlier, Tasha, you mentioned something which is so key. We got to be willing to take that mask off. Like, if that mask will separate us from what we should be doing in terms of what's going to be successful. Take that mask off and just be like, you know what? I don't know.
The mask separates us from truth. On who we really are, and not who society or family members thinks we should be, but who we really are. And so I'm just so proud of God and this entire broadcast, and I'm so grateful for your time in sharing your journey and your story, as we talk about the courage to start. Because what I want our viewers and our listeners to take away from as they watch this is we're real people with real problems and real past, but it's God's grace that has covered us, and that's healed us. You know, we're very unique. You know, we're fearfully and wonderfully made, but guess what? We're just like you.
Yeah.
We've made mistakes. You know, we've hurt feelings. Our feelings have been hurt. You know, but when you're talking about the courage to start, you're looking at 3 people who have stepped over, you know, have crossed over into a space of thriving in our purpose. Do we have all the answers? No. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. You know, but we continue by faith every single day to trust God. So when we talk about living well, we're talking about just seeing us free in every aspect of our lives. We're believing that for you, and we want you to know that your life can change. You may be stuck today. You may have like started and stopped and started and stopped. You may have never started. Your life can change. You know, so I want you to be encouraged. You know, we're talking about the courage to start. I'm just so grateful to hear your journeys on starting a new marriage, a new relationship, a new business, you know, just an amazing partnership where you're blessing people. And I'm so grateful to God for the courage that He's given me, you know, to just lead this amazing well-being movement. You know, because I remember being stuck in my spaces and like so many people, Lord, why me? I'm a good person. I don't deserve this, but why? But I've taken so many valuable lessons, you know, from those experiences. And it's a blessing when you can get to the place where you allow your experiences to become your teachers. You know, when you look back and they don't hurt. And the sting is gone. And you're like, you know what, God, what did I learn from that? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about that person? You know, you take that, and here we are now with the well-being movement where we're blessing and encouraging people to lead better lives. And so, I mean, the courage to even start a talk show, David, now. The courage. You know, and I shared on one of our broadcasts, really the audacity, because I was the person that didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was smart enough. You know, and the thoughts that we think really become our reality. So everything we do, we back it into your mindset, because you want a better life, you want a better wealth, you want a better you. It starts in your mind. So the audacity for me to trust God to start a talk show. You know, and not all the answers, didn't know how it was going to work out, where we're going to film. I don't know how to edit. What? I mean, lights, cameras, camera 1, camera 2, out of your what in the world?
But that's how it always starts.
And that's how it started.
It's refreshing to hear that's the start for all of us.
And that is so real, because when Al shared that she was in Africa for 2 weeks and she didn't have Wi-Fi, check this out. I started a show in June. So we're like, we're going to do live shows. We're going to have a studio audience every week. Guess what? No. You know, we need a couple. And I was like, that's not going to work. And so guess what? There was a few weeks with no content. I was like, how do you start a show and then go radio silent? So we're talking about real life, we're talking about real people, and we're talking about the courage to start. So I trusted God and I had the courage to start. But guess what? We started and we stopped. And I had a moment of like, did I fail? But I had to rethink. I had to get quiet. And I was like, God, okay, let me redirect. Because you said talk show. You didn't say studio audience, you said talk show.
That's good.
Okay, so let's do the talk show. And so, but I'm like, oh my God, we have so many people engaged. People are asking me, Tasha, where's the show? We can't find it. And I'm like, it ain't one. It ain't one.
I love it.
It ain't one.
I love that.
You just want to be honest, it is not a show, okay? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just being transparent.
Man, that's
I
so
want
nice
people to
hear.
understand. You know, Tasha, we saw all these posts. We were so excited. Oh my God, these great images. And oh my God, I've been so inspired. And I shared it with my whole network. But guess what? I had to rethink. I had to get, I'm like, okay, God, let me just kind of reset for a second. Let me get my team back in the room. Okay, look, this is how it's going to happen now. And they're like, okay. You know, but we're talking about the courage to start. And in Jesus' name, you can see yourself. We got 3 different people with 3 different scenarios, 3 different walks of life.
Tasha, I like how you said, you know, when you saw this coming into play, you had the crowd, you had the audience, you know, and you made me think about, you know, sometimes we overcomplicate the vision, right? Just simplify it. You know, simplify the vision. If you don't get the crowd in the beginning, it'll come. But just simplify. The Lord says, you know, don't despise humble beginnings. And I love how He says it, because He loves to see it progress and grow. It's like a seed that you invest and you plant it. I'm gonna sit here long enough and I'm gonna just water it, and I know it's coming. And then as it buds up, you see it just growing. And before you know it, there's this huge tree that comes out of it.
He's the one
but
that does
you got
that.
the opportunity. Yeah, that's what he does.
God
but
enlarges.
God gets the
heart.
opportunity to see, I saw that grow. I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he truly wants all the glory. Like, I'm not going to give you a crowd. I just want you to start simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's goes to starting. Just don't overcomplicate the bit. Just start.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah.
And have the courage to restart.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
that's key.
Yeah,
Start
because
and
right in my
restart.
mind, I'm like, okay, I got to go back and read all you can do all this all over again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But guess what? You know, if it starts with one, to God be the glory.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, let God let it do what it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to do in time.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
just get going.
That's right.
Just restart, start. You got to do it 10,000 times. Just do it. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we love you.
We appreciate you.
I mean, really, thank y'all so much for being here. It
Thanks for
blesses
having
me.
us.
Thank you for your time. You know, thank you for motivating. And let's do that as we close out. How about let's share one key thing,
Okay.
or if you want to give us a bonus, let's motivate and inspire our listeners with a couple of things to just really get them started. What would you say, Dave?
You know, I would say definitely, if God has given you something, He's trusted you to be pregnant with this thing, whatever it is. He trusts you to carry it. But, the labor pains will come, and you want to make sure that when they do come, you stay connected to the umbilical cord, which is through Christ. No, I kid you not. He is the source, man. Like, you got to be reminded, Lord, I'm not in this by myself. You gave me the vision down. I'm going to write it down. And though it tarry, it will come to pass. And just kind of trust God to that. Lord, I'm going to take what you gave me. You gave me a gift. I'm going to share it. I'm going to keep it simple. But I'm going to start. I'm going to be willing to even take on the challenges, because though conquering things come, Lord, you made me more than a conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Can I get one
Please.
tangible thing I
Please.
thought of when you said vision? The Bible talks about writing down your vision. And I just put up these huge bulletin boards in the office, and I'm putting up little visions that I have for our family, our businesses, our finances, our kids, whatever it may be, but something about writing it down and looking at it every day.
Yes.
Gives you that courage and gives you that reminder, like, oh, this is still something I want or desire that God has placed in me. I can do this. And even I can do this. I can do all things through Christ.
Absolutely.
And pray about what needs to go on that board. First of all, let Him give you those visions.
Yeah.
And then just go after it.
Yes.
Guys,
so much power in writing stuff down. I've
Yeah.
said it before, and I know I borrowed it from somebody, I'm sure, but if it's not scheduled, it's not real.
Ooh.
So the power in just imagine just a clean canvas, and then those words begin to take form on that board, on your notepads and your journals. And so you're so right, that is so real. That's how Walmart came into play. That's how Apple came into play. That's all these things have come into play.
Yeah.
My Heart Exposed, Live Well TV, and we could go on. So, why don't you write down your visions, your goals? That needs to be a show in its own.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys, I'm so grateful to God. My heart is so full right now. I love you. I love both of you. Thank you so much for being
Love
here,
you too.
Al. Dave, I just believe that something that we've shared today that you can take away and apply to your life and your business. We appreciate you for tuning in to Live Well TV. If anything that we've shared connects with you, or if we can help you in any capacity, or if you feel like this video will help someone, we ask that you please share it, because each one reach one. Stay tuned to more Live Well TV and be incredibly well.